I think all of us have the inherent capability to live longer and healthier lives. And that's a function of your cells. But not all your cells are created equal. Today I'm going to talk to you about how Omniscope sees what your immune system is seeing. You see, your immune system, T cells shown here in pink, are what detect and treat disease. 500 million years of evolution have made the perfect system to find and treat disease. But like many things in evolution, it's a double-edged sword. These are the very same cells which create inflammation and inflammaging. These are the same cells which create autoimmune disease when the system designed to protect you now attacks you. So decoding the immune system, which is one of the fundamental mechanistic elements of your complex biology, is quite difficult. And we have spent 5 years in stealth on the journey of decoding your immune system, starting with reading the immune system cell by cell, where we've developed a technology where we read over 1 million cells per sample. That's over 100-fold more than any other technology, making us one of the largest data producers of a company our size. AI, as many of you have heard, allows us then to understand and analyze that complexity. What are the gaps? Where are the bits where your immune system is not protecting you? And to match you to existing therapies. You know, I'm not going to live long enough to wait for everything to come off of a clinical trial. I need a solution right now. And there are many therapies which already are FDA approved. But we also biobank your immune cells and engineer them, because as technology continues to march forward, your cells will be ready to be used in a future scenario. And finally, recently in the Annals of Oncology, Omniscope has shown groundbreaking efforts in actually engineering immune cells to combat diseases such as cancer, amongst others. So decoding the immune system has really led us to understand that in order to really understand age, you need to build a model of age, cell by cell by cell, to understand how you're protected, how you're inflamed, to track tissue damage, to understand senescence. You cannot do this at an averaged out bulk element. You need to really understand aging cell by cell, because it's your cells which are aging. Thus, our complete model of age is also very well grounded in peer-reviewed and understood science. We know the hallmarks of aging, and the immune system indeed is one of the lead indicators in over 80% of age-related diseases. Indeed, the best part of the immune system is it can be modified and tracked. And whilst genetics and genomics are answering questions, we need a new axis to really crack this very, very large challenge, whether it is loss of plasticity, inflammaging, or immunodeficiency, leaving you vulnerable. The understanding that your immune system ages as you age is well characterized. Now, I've suffered that personally. I actually lost my father to chickenpox, out of all things. And it made me really understand that the only thing between you and the end of life very often is your immune system. So we don't need to always wait to use the technology that Omniscope uses to understand therapeutics and develop new ones. GlaxoSmithKline's Shingrix vaccination is available to all of you. And we actually presented at the World Vaccine Congress that by understanding the way a patient who's been exposed and has immunity to chickenpox then actually is stimulated to reinvigorate that protection once again, is something that can be seen cell by cell. By looking at a patient who took a booster shot as well as the first dose of the regimen at 1 million cells per sample, we actually could really see these various dots in orange and in green, which are subsets and populations of T cells, CD4s and CD8s, which respectively are brought to the forefront to defend you because the vaccine has re-elicited your immune system, both de novo and pre-existing. And indeed, in the second vaccine dose, we can see that even though this is not as strong, it is still being reinforced. There are existing therapies that we can use if we can understand and decode the immune system. But what we've also shown at Omniscope, published in the Annals of Oncology, is our work on engineering T cells using mRNA, initially on a pediatric patient with a rare rhabdoid tumor. We picked mRNA because it's quick, cheap, and scalable. There's no complex manufacturing. We did it very, very fast. We did this in a palliative setting. And indeed, we could see in vitro that the T cells we engineered killed the tumor. Omniscope is providing these technologies to those of you in Gerotherapeutics. We believe that the era of personalized engineering and cellular therapies is not tomorrow, it's today. And you are part of making sure that it is today. And you can engineer your own immune system. I'm going to show you how I engineered mine. You see, the fundamental posit is that you can only act upon what you know. I decided to use my own technology to understand my own immune system. osLifetime is a cellular avatar, billions of cells-based platform, which in this case shows that I am unfortunately a lot older than I look. I'm 57 years immune age. I have extremely high inflammation. I suffer from psoriasis, which is an autoimmune disease, where my T cells are attacking me. And unfortunately, you're going to see what role that plays on my longevity. Luckily, though, I am fairly well protected to most viral diseases. Here, I can actually see my longevity, and Nina, if you're so kind, you can track that with sleep, where it doesn't always take a lot of complex future science. As I improve my sleep hygiene, for instance, I can diminish my immune age. And immune age is critical to your actual age, because again, those are the cells which are keeping you alive right now. I can also see how I compare to my peers, my family, centenarians. Omniscope has spent significant amounts tracking centenarians and understanding their cellular composition, but also athletes. And I'll tell you more about our work with elite athletes, which is also one of the areas from which we've come. Now, as we scroll down, I can also see my resilience. My protection score shown here on these radar plots actually takes the work that we have developed in reverse vaccinology to understand my T and B cells, which are protecting me from some of these pathogens. It also, unfortunately for me, shows that my inflammation is completely off. I am extremely, extremely inflamed. And when I look through our database, I'm as inflamed as some cancer patients in very, very tough times. So I realized that I really need to do something about that, because particularly as I go further down, I also see that my senescence on the Gaussian distribution is on the extremely high end, making it evident that not only am I inflamed, but I also have significant tissue damage. My telomeres are shorter than my longer-lived peers, and my methylation clock, which of course is a gold standard of accumulated aging, is also above my actual biological age. Finally, I can actually see, and our algorithms automatically call my abnormal blood profiles from FDA and CE-IVD validated chemistries, which showed, amongst other things, that my C-reactive protein, an indicator of how my body's attacking itself, my IL-6, my interferon gamma, and many, many other markers of inflammation were really, really off the track. So I'd like to shift now and tell you how I used non-pharmaceutical interventions I am about to use pharmaceutical interventions, but I want to tell you a little bit about some of the non-pharmaceutical interventions I used, because I believe that to democratize, we also have to be self-reliant and be our own big pharma. So I'm not here to advertise dietary supplements, although I will publish all of this online for anybody to look at. I did have the consultancy of Football Club Barcelona and some of the world's best nutritionists. So I took quite a few dietary supplements, predominantly cheap, accessible ones, to do things like alleviate my low levels of vitamin D, which tends to be quite a master regulator of many things. I improved my sleep, which is free and feels damn good too. And I changed my exercise. I used to, in my younger years, be quite sportive and often did very high impact regular exercise almost daily. I actually changed that to very heavy weights, lower intensity, and I moved to sprinting instead of jogging. I did a variety of things which you can easily do, nothing which is out of your reach. What did that do? For starters, whilst I tracked my psoriasis flares, which put me even above the world's best athletes in terms of inflammation, surprisingly, by taking non-pharmaceutical interventions and completely cutting out my corticoids, which are a synthetic form of cortisol, I actually ended up massively dropping my inflammation to a lower point than it's ever been. And I didn't suffer a single flare. Am I saying all of this is idealized? This is not science. This is N equals 1. But N equals 1 is meaningful because I guess the person you care about most is you. I also managed to keep these interventions, and really because of the fact that we are reading biology cell by cell, I can explain it. Umberto Peron, our senior computational biologist here in the audience, actually did a bit of analysis looking at my CD8, the T cells which are going out there affecting and doing things and killing things, and my CD4s, my helper cells, which are an important part of an incredible network connecting dendritic cells and other cells. I can actually see that the gene programs, the gene expression, gene by gene, in millions of cells, bear in mind that this is millions of cells, and you have around 2 kilos of these cells in your body, so they're pretty important. Their activation was reduced. Biologically, my autoimmune disease, my inflammation, which is mediated by the immune system, can be explained even N equals 1, and even more so when I start to compare it to one of the largest databases of the human immune system, which we've built over 5 years, which is used in clinical trials, which has been used by UCSF for the development of therapeutics against HIV. We come from the world of the clinic, not from the world of geroscience. We are also a company which has been working in AI long before it became fashionable, and we're an NVIDIA Inception program and Google partner. But that is the world of clinical science, where everything is nice and clean, you can control all the variables. And our life is not like that. And neither is the life of elite athletes. Football Club Barcelona is one of the world's top football clubs. And athletes represent the apex of human performance. If we wanted to define health, I think most of us would look like an athlete and go, I want to be like that. That's what healthy looks like. Well, what do athletes' cells look like? This is what we've learned with Football Club Barcelona as our customer for now a couple of years. What we learn is that your immune age is incredibly elastic. Your immune system responds to even the amount of minutes you played in a football game. And we did this with Football Club Barcelona's women's team, which is one of the winners of the Ballon d'Or, really showing exceptional performance. We saw that your immune system ages with the minutes you play, that your immune system changes with the acceleration, your movement and your energy expenditure Nothing comes free. There's a price to pay for everything in biology. And we even found out that the immune system is so personal that defenders and forwards have different immune systems and different ways of aging. You see, at the end of the day, life is messy. You're not on a clinical trial. You all will miss some sleep, you'll miss some supplements, you'll work out. If we are going to tackle aging, geroscience needs to really, really become very, very practical, because that's the way life works. And indeed, the other thing that we need to recognize, which we learned as part of our work with Barca and our work in ovarian cancer and breast cancer, is we also have to understand that gender differences matter. Women and men do not have an identical biology, although of course we have homology. That is one of the reasons why not only have we developed osLifetime as a general tool, but we have specific models for women's health, as well as models from different HLA types and different ethnicities. We have built a very representative and fair model, which really allows us to understand every step you take, every cell you have. And that is what I believe takes us from steps to cells. We need to make a big change from thinking that wearables are the answer to everything. No, they're not. We can't be biohackers like Brian Johnson because it's just not practical, and most of us will go broke before we can even do any of these things. Scientists track aging cell by cell with osLifetime. From your immune age to your inflammaging to your telomere length to your biological age, we put all of this massive amount of data together. And I want to leave you with the parting message that longevity is not far. Youthful immune systems are one of the main things you can use today to live longer and healthier lives. Thank you for your time today.
Stay on the
sure. Oh, I forgot. If any of you want to win the exact same test which Football Club Barcelona, people like Lewandowski, Yamal, and the women's team are using, we are giving out one free package for an entire year to a member of this audience. So go for it.
There you go, get your phones out. We have time for one question. Any questions? I can ask. Do you plan to extend this kind of detail? It's an N of 1 study at the moment. Do you have plans to extend this?
Yes, indeed. No, I only showed my N of 1 because I didn't have to ask anybody for privacy consent. Omniscope has been sequencing thousands of people for several years across most of the major indications: cancer, autoimmune disease, infectious. We're part of several clinical trials which are in the public domain, and we're published very regularly. So our technology is built on very large cohorts. In fact, we are actually very interested in contributing to many of the academic studies as well, because we believe that science is we all need to get together to make something change. So this product is available for use, both for people developing drugs, but also clinics who want to provide cutting-edge technology to their customers.
Great, thank you. So we now have a break for coffee back at 5:15.